Alright kids, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about a Bolens riding mower from the late 90s, early 2000s to the best of my recollection. This is for Tony. He's basically a neighbor of mine who's about a mile away. And he called me up, said when he turns on the fuel comes rushing out of the carburetor. So I went over and took a look at it. And of course that's a pretty standard problem. When carburetors get corroded, the needle and seat won't match up correctly, and therefore the fuel continues to run. Now, normally under the circumstances, this thing's been sitting for, I think he told me, 1.5 or 2 years. I would tell him straight out, just buy a new carburetor, don't even mess around with it. He's going to pay just as much to have me try to salvage the old one, and it's not guaranteed. Carburetors are not that expensive. On a riding mower, they're between 100 and 150 bucks for the OEMs, and you know, it's usually pretty standard. But he did tell me that originally when he put this thing away, he ran it out of fuel. So my guess is that the inside of the carburetor is probably bad and it probably needs to be replaced. But we're going to pull it apart anyway and take a look before we order a new carburetor. So this is your fuel solenoid shutoff. Sometimes you need a special wrench that's thinner. In this case we have plenty of room. It's going to be a 1/2 inch normally. Just get your 1/2 inch wrench. Now I've already broken this free just so I wasn't looking weak on camera. And we are basically going to take this thing apart with a Phillips head. Be sure not to strip these screws out or you'll never get them out. So if you have to try various Phillips heads to make sure that they fit correctly, then do it. We're going to try and break these free, and it's not, it just screwed the whole thing up. So let's try a flathead, a big flathead. Is that too big? It's too big. Let's try this. If we can't get these screws out, we're just going to be buying a new machine anyway, or a new carburetor, but there we go. Now once you get them out, if the carburetor is worth salvaging, you can always replace the screws. It's getting them out that's the problem. And that screw actually looks fairly clean, but they just get stuck in there. So be careful with that. If you can use a flathead, use the proper size flathead, get it in there deep. Get a lot of pressure on there. Make sure it's centered correctly. And give it a twist. Flathead's usually better than the Phillips, but I usually try the Phillips first. Ooh, it smells like varnish in there. Boy, if this was smell-o-vision, you'd be able to smell that. Give it a popper. Oh yeah, that's nasty. Let's see if we can get that on camera. See if we can get the rest of that out of there. That, my friends, is jello in there. Now the carburetor doesn't look too horrible. It's good and varnished. But that is jello-y gunk. And that's going to be all up inside of the jets of the carburetor and everything. Let's pull that out. This gasket's pretty well worn. We know that it's leaking fuel from the needle and seat. What you heard pop out of there was the top part of a little jet. Yeah, that's all corroded out. Okay. Yeah, that's nasty. And the top part of your jet broke off. It's usually just from corrosion. It kind of fits on here. Well, not kind of fits, it fits on there inside of this little tube. And I mean, the plastic part's fine, but the actual aluminum of the carburetor is all corroded up, and the top of the jet broke off. So I'm not even going to try and salvage this thing. We're just going to have to get a new one, and I will send Tony a text and let him see this video and let him know that he's going to need a new carburetor. It's just not worth messing with. I could send this through the ultrasonic cleaner. I could probably find that jet. Well, not probably, I know I could find that jet, and I could spend a couple hours of my time. And you know, if I wasn't in the business, or this was a personal machine of mine, I would still buy the stupid carburetor myself. But maybe you're stuck out, you know, in the middle of nowhere, and you don't exactly have parts houses close by, or you don't like to shop on Amazon, or you just feel like rebuilding the old one's going to be better. You'll end up spending 50-60 bucks on rebuild kit parts, running this thing through an ultrasonic cleaner. Now that's going to be fine, we're going to use that. The new carburetor often comes with one. If it doesn't, we can reuse that. And you know, you can spend 4 or 5 hours running it through the power cleaner, the ultrasonic cleaner. You could track down rebuild kits, you get a new needle and seat for it, and you spend a whole lot of time trying to salvage the body, and you're going to spend just about as much money. If you're doing it yourself, you're going to spend a lot less money, obviously. But by the time you pay someone to do it, you're going to end up spending more money than it would be just to order a new carb, strap it on. I ran over to his house with some basic tools, pulled that off in 5 minutes or so. Getting the new one on is going to be just as easy. So Tony, I'm going to upload this video and send you the link, but we're going to be sticking a new carburetor on this thing, and I think you'll be good to go after that. Thanks for watching, guys.